All right, everyone, welcome into the program. Today, look, we're going to crack into it. How do you get more life insurance, clients to book appointments with you? Let's crack into it. All right, welcome into the program. Today, I have actually keyed up the entire wrong music to play, but that's okay. That is okay. We're going to do it right now. Let's get into it. Mastering virtual sales is the key to selling more life insurance. All right, everyone, welcome to the show today. I definitely appreciate you being here with me today. Look, we are broadcasting live on, oh my gosh, everywhere. LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and also on Clubhouse. If you want to get into the mix, go ahead and join me on Clubhouse over here so we can actually talk to one another. We're also going to be taking your questions and comments via live chat as well. So you can always make sure that you can get into the mix. Look, one of the biggest questions that everyone comes up with, last week we talked about how to get people to actually answer the phone. We talked about that because it is one of those things where if people aren't answering the phone, obviously you aren't making sales, you're not making money. And we need to understand the reasons why people aren't, taking our calls, answering the phone, and all those other things. But more importantly, when it comes down to booking appointments, that's a thing that is really, really key to understand how to accomplish and do that. Good morning to you, user over on Facebook. Sorry, I can't see your name there, but thank you so much for being over on Facebook and tuning in. Definitely appreciate you there. Look, I remember back in 94, when I first got licensed and, I was trying to recruit people right into an opportunity for life insurance. I was trying to I remember back then, 23, 24 years old, I'm 52 now, and it's really crazy how the world has changed. But when I look at how I was going about not only recruiting, but also trying to get people to, come into my ecosystem and actually purchase life insurance, I remember dressing up in my best suits, going to the mall, right? Carrying a briefcase, just rolling up on people and trying to give them an opportunity to come in and into this great career field of life insurance and sell life insurance. And this just was not working. It didn't work. And I'm sure that some of you, have done things like this. If you have, go ahead and put a chat in the comment for me. I definitely would appreciate that. Welcoming everyone listening and watching on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook. And once again, if you want to get into the mix with this whole thing, go ahead and follow me on Clubhouse. I'm at Earl Hall. You can see right there on your screen so that we can actually talk to one another. But I want you to think about relationships here. Some of us are married, all of us have had some sort of dating experience or whatever. And you don't walk up to the girl, if you're a guy or whatever, you don't walk up to the person and say, hey, let's get married. It doesn't happen that way. You have to go through a courting process. You have to get to know that person. You have to understand who they are, what they're about, and things of that nature. And when it comes down to people answering the phone and booking appointments, so many people are treating this like hey, come on, let's get married. Now, there's a lot of reasons behind that because obviously we believe in the products and services that we offer, and we want to try and put people into a better situation than they currently are, which, is the thing you want to do as a life insurance agent. But even getting to that point is going to take some work because of the era that we live in right now. Even when you make friends, you don't just say, hey, you're my best friend. You get to know that person. You may have a multitude of friends and you want to actually get to a place where you know and understand who they are. But more importantly, you know and understand that they know who you are. And this comes down to a definite process that we are ignoring when it comes down to making sales. We're ignoring this courtship process because we want it to be quick and we want it to be fast. Believe me, I get it. You want to get on to the next person. Hey, what's up, man? The real Joe Bird. Thanks so much for being here. Definitely appreciate you watching in over on YouTube. So thanks for that. And also, we've got a Facebook user. Yes, I've walked up people and asked that. You know, it really comes down to developing a relationship. And this is a part that's missing. And it's a vital part that's missing. And it's a vital part that we're ignoring. In the age that we live in now, people are saturated. We're all saturated with marketing messages. Hey, come buy this product. Hey, come and get involved with this service. I mean, we scroll through our Facebook feeds, we scroll through our Instagram, we scroll through Twitter and things like that. And we're seeing all of these marketing messages just like our prospects are. We're seeing these messages just like our prospects are, and they're tired. Now, I want you to think about something here. What do you do when you get a call from a number that you don't recognize? What happens? Come on, let's just be real. Chat it up with me in chat. You know, if you want to get in to the conversation, if you've got questions for me, if you've got comments, you can join me over on Clubhouse, raise your hand, and I'll bring you up and we can answer those questions. But we've got people on 3 or 4 different platforms right now. So I'm monitoring the chat, I'm monitoring Clubhouse and things of that nature. So if you've got questions or comments, put them up in chat, or you can also go ahead and join me over on Clubhouse at Earl Hall, where we can actually talk to each other and see the real deal here. Exactly. The question that I asked was, what do you do when you get a call from a number you don't recognize? And AMFNJ327 over on YouTube said, we don't pick up. And that's exactly right. We don't pick up. So why is it? I just want you to really ask yourself a serious question here. Why is it that you think it's different? Why do you think it's different for our prospects and customers? They don't know you. You literally have done nothing but gotten a name and a number, and now you're calling them. Christina Cristal says, the eyes start rolling and then you deny the call. Exactly. That's exactly what happens. So I want you to think about your customers, your potential customers and your prospects that you're trying to engage with, because what it is that you do is exactly what they're doing when they get your phone call. And you've got to understand that there are ways around this, but these are not quick fixes. I mean, last week when we talked about even how to get people to answer the phone, I showed you and demonstrated how you basically can go about and call the people, up to 27 times in a day, right? And that may potentially work, and it does work for some life insurance agents that are out there. They have a method. I'm not going to go back through that method. You can listen to last week's call if you want to do that, or broadcast. But the thing about this whole thing is, I want to give you some strategies that you can go out and start using, but these are not quick fixes, and nothing that I'm going to actually tell you today is a quick fix, because there is no such thing as a magic bullet, right? There's no such thing as a magic bullet when it comes to getting people to actually take action on whether we're talking about answering your phone calls or whether we're talking about booking an appointment on your calendar. So let's get into the booking appointment on your calendar thing. Because right now, what happens for most of the life insurance agents that are out there, you're buying leads or you're getting leads in some way, shape, or form. And then what is happening? You are immediately calling those leads. Now, this is a strategy that works. You want to call those leads when they come in, within 5 to 9 minutes. And I say 5 to 9 minutes because I hear that all the time from people that are top performers. This is a way, and it's a strategy. So 5 to 9 minutes, you call that person. 9 times out of 10, the person isn't going to answer because they don't know who you are. But there are mechanisms that you can actually put in place that will actually work when it comes down to having a better percentage of people actually picking up the phone and actually engaging with you because of one reason and one reason only. Because they know who you are. Because they know who you are. Now, I know the question you're asking right now, Earl, how do you get someone to know who it is that you are? I'm just a life insurance agent. I get my leads and I call my leads and this is what I've been told to do by my upline, by my sideline, by the people that are in my downline. All of us are doing the same thing, right? You've got your cell phone, you've got your CRM, and you've got a lead, and you've got some leads to call. And so you wake up on your dial day and you go in there and you start dialing. Now, what I want you to understand, and this is a key thing, what it is that I want you to really understand and key in on is that these people that you are calling have no idea who you are, and they don't want to be sold. They don't want to be pushed into something. But the thing is that they want the information, right? They want the information. They have something in the back of their mind that is telling them that, okay, I need to get some life insurance. I need to put my family in a better situation or protect my family or whatever the reasons are. They saw some sort of ad. If you're buying leads on Facebook, then they saw a Facebook ad from a lead vendor. And then you're buying those leads from that. I'm just going to say this, and I'm just going to draw sand in the line. I literally think that is probably the worst thing to do on a continual basis is to buy leads from lead vendors. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason why is because you've got the lead vendor. They're in business to generate leads and to sell you leads. That's their business model, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then when you look at it from this perspective as well, they're not making 1,200 different ads for 1,200 different life insurance agents. There is nothing unique about that ad that says it's you. There's nothing unique that says it's about the real Joe Bird or it's about, AMFN J327 or Christina. There's nothing that's saying that. It's a generic ad meant to drive the most amount of leads to come in so that they can sell. And what this effectively does is it puts you in a box, and it also you're just a commodity at that point. You're just another life insurance agent. There's nothing special about that to that lead that you've just purchased. Now, what we found over the past almost 3 years now is that the clients that we serve and the life insurance agents that we help to acquire clients is that there's a couple of key things that need to happen. The ad that person sees must resonate with the person that's seeing it on a deeper level than just the surface level of I need life insurance. It's a deeper level to that. If you're watching me on YouTube, if you're watching me on LinkedIn or Facebook, thanks so much for being here. Definitely appreciate you. Go on and give me a shout out in the chat. Let me know you're here. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can log in over on Clubhouse. It's my, what do they call those things? Username is @EarlHall, and we can chat it up. I think we have one person over on Clubhouse right now. I'm not going to call you out because you may just want to be listening, but if you have a question, you can definitely raise your hand and we can go ahead and take your question live on Clubhouse on this broadcast. So there's nothing standing out in those generic Facebook ads that screams of you as an individual. And this is the thing that you want. So if you want to take some notes about this, there's a couple of things that you need. You need to start doing things the complete opposite of what most people are doing, what most life insurance agents are doing. Because we all know, or you may not know, only about less than 10% of people in our industry are crushing it. It's like 8%. And I get that from Cody Askins. Cody Askins, I love his YouTube channel. By the way, he's a great speaker and all of this stuff. And his channel is 8% Nation, and that's what he talks about. There's only 8% of us in this industry that are actually successful. So that means something. That means that there's 92% of life insurance agents that are basically making the bare minimum. The average life insurance agent makes between $40,000-$50,000 a year. But the life insurance agents that we talk to, they're making $50 to $100K a month. No, it's exactly what I said. $50 to $100K a month. And it's because of some of these simple strategies. So if you want to know the strategies behind, getting people to book appointments on your calendar, and doing things like someone that is earning 50 to 100,000 every month. I'm not talking about, your AP. I'm talking about your AP, your annualized premium. Now, what you make from that is going to be based on your commission level that you have with your life insurance IMO or agency or whatever it is. But here's the thing. So you can go ahead and take notes if you want to. The first thing that you have to do is you have to do a 180 from what everyone else is doing. I'm talking about the 92%. I'm not talking about the 8%. I'm talking about the 92% of life insurance agents that are making just the bare minimum. You have to completely change from what it is that they're doing over to what the successful 8% are doing. That's the first thing. In that doing a 180, it means that you have to stop buying leads from lead vendors. I'm just telling you the truth here from the people that we work with. You have to learn how to literally run your own Facebook ads. You have to learn how to run your own Facebook ads. And this isn't hard. I mean, people we help, they have this set up in like 2 days, 3 days, whatever. And they're done and they're off to the races. And then what you have to do is you have to craft a message that is a personal story of yours. Do you want me to give you an example? Give me some yes in the chat. Do you want me to give you some examples of what it is that I'm talking about behind crafting your own personal story? When it comes down to this is going to be the most essential part of getting people to know and understand who it is that you are. Because if you're running Facebook ads or whatever, and they're just generic, you're not Facebook users saying yes. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you. Elaine Burl over on LinkedIn is saying yes. Thank you, Elaine. I think Elaine, you were here last week. Thanks so much for being here again with me today. I definitely appreciate you. All right. Here's an example of a story. And this, what I want you to understand is that you have to craft a story that is uniquely yours. You can borrow someone else's story, but let me give you an example. And I'm just going to make this up. This isn't a story of mine or anything, but you have to start crafting your own story based on your own life. When I was 15 years old, my grandfather passed away and he had terminal cancer and he had been sick for a while. And, the family was struggling, trying to, take care of medical bills and take care of him and be there for him spiritually and emotionally, and everything. But the thing about it is, as you probably already know, my grandfather passed away and left my grandmother alone. But the thing about it is that he didn't have life insurance. And so we had to take care of our grandmother for the rest of her life. We had to pay her bills for the rest of her life. I don't want anyone to face those types of things. I don't want anyone to have to go through what my family went through. And it is the biggest reason that I'm here today, trying to make sure that I can help families just like they were my own. Now, when you craft a story like that, now this has to be your own story, right? It has to be your own story. But let's just take it a level deeper. You have to pick a niche that you want to serve. And I'm not talking about a demographic. I'm not talking about I want to serve 30 to 65-year-olds that make over, $80,000 a year. That's just a demographic. It's not a niche. When we're talking about a niche, we're talking about an industry that you know inside and out. As an example, I'll talk about Kevin Alexander. He's one of our clients, and he did like $170,000 in a month, which is crazy, right? But these are the strategies that he uses. All right. So when you're talking about picking a niche, we're talking about you want to have one product, one service, one niche, who you serve. And I know that may sound scary, and I know it may sound counterproductive, but it is not. Let me just tell you, someone that has been in marketing for over 2 decades at this point, that one of the biggest mistakes that every business owner makes, and you are a business owner, is that you try and service any and everybody. And when you do that, you're talking to no one. So even that story that I just told, you may be talking to people that have a similar story to that, but where that gets even better and more powerful is when you have a niche that you're talking to. Kevin Alexander was a trucker. His father was a trucker. His brother was a trucker. And unfortunately, his brother passed away in a trucking accident. Guess who Kevin Alexander services? Only. Yeah, he services truckers. That's it. And he makes a crap ton of money every month serving one niche. Now, what I want you to think about here, is an industry that you've worked in, an industry that you know inside and out, that you relate to. It could be, I was in the military, right? So I can relate to veterans and talk about the problems that they have. Kevin Alexander relates to truckers, so he can talk about the ins and outs of that. And what it means to be a trucker, and the situations and the different things that you're involved in. And when people see that you know who they are, let me just tell you, it's magic. It is magic. It is like nectar. You want a secret sauce, you pick a niche or niche, however you want to say it, and you double down on it. And you tell your story to that niche, and that niche only, in a way that shows them that you know who you are, that you know who they are. For an example, with Kevin Alexander, what he does is he tells the story of his father, and he was in a trucking accident, and 8,000 pounds of pipe fell on him, almost crushed him, but he survived. He tells the story of his brother that was killed in a trucking accident and went into detail about how it happened. Kevin himself was in an accident and went into detail about the accident and how this was. And what I want to get you to see is that it is not the product or service that you're selling that is the most important. It is your story that you have that relates to the people that you want to sell your product or service to. If you can't do that, you will continue to struggle, especially the farther into the future that we go. Social media is social media, and it is not going away. And when people are scrolling, they can either stop on just a generic ad that someone has for life insurance, or they will stop on yours. The reason they'll stop on yours, and this could be a simple video that you do with your cell phone, literally a simple video that you do with your cell phone. It could be a written post of your story. You don't have to make this hard, but I'm telling you, video wins every time. Video will win every time. I want to thank everyone that's tuning in right now over on Facebook, over on LinkedIn, over on YouTube. We've got some amazing people. We've got 1 or 2 folks, I believe, over on Clubhouse. I'm looking at my Clubhouse now. If you've got a question or comment, you can raise your hand, and I can go ahead and take your question there over on Clubhouse. If you're not following me on Clubhouse and you would like to talk to me, as you see on screen, you can follow me on Clubhouse at Earl Hall. The reason behind wanting to develop your story, is because in the world that we live in today, and I relate it back to the dating scenario that I talked about at the beginning, you don't roll up on someone and say, I want to marry you. You can't do that now either because people are tired of it. Come buy my stuff. Come buy my product. Come buy my service. Well, why? Why? You don't even know who I am. I'm just a number to you. This is how we feel. This is why when, even you walk into the mall and, the salesperson comes up to you and says, how can I help you today? Oh, I'm just looking, because you don't want to be sold. You don't want someone following you around. You don't know this person. I want you to put yourself in the position of the person that you're trying to sell life insurance to. Just for a moment. I want you to put yourself in the position of that person that you're trying to sell life insurance to, because this is real. They don't know you. They don't understand your motives. They don't know why you're doing what you're doing. So when it comes down to this is key. You've got to have a relatable story so that people can understand and know who it is that you are and why you care. And when you have a niche that you're targeting, that you know inside and out, oh my gosh, does it make a difference? Are you a teacher? Are you a bus driver? Have you been a waiter? Have you been an attorney? Have you been in the military? Have you been an Uber driver? Have you been, whatever it is, there's something that you've done that if you pick a niche to target, and this may be hard, but it's one of the things that we help people develop through. It may be hard initially, but when you crack that code, I'm telling you, it'll make the difference. And then let's go a little step further. You've learned now you've learned how to make your Facebook ads, right? You've learned how to tell your story. Now what you have to do is get people to understand why this is important and why it's important now. And this comes down to even developing landing pages with more view on video, telling your story, explaining to them why this is needed, who this is for. And I'm telling you, there are some very key things and key points that if you put into place, it will make the difference in your life insurance business. We're coming up on 30 minutes, and I'll try to cut these off 30 minutes in. So we're 27 minutes in now. So I want to go ahead. If you're over on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Clubhouse, put in your questions right now, and I'll take one or two and be able to answer those. If you're over on Clubhouse and you've got a question for me, go ahead and raise your hand, and I will definitely bring you up to the stage, as they say on Clubhouse, and I can answer your question live right here on air. I want to make sure that if you have not visited the website, you do go to lifeinsuranceLeadGenerator.com. It's right on the screen. As you're seeing that, I'm going to be developing that site out more and more and more. And there's some information, and there's a link. Anyway, go to the website and you can go ahead and get some things going right there at the website. If you need, help, if you need training, you can connect with me and we can talk about how to do this. We do not do this for everyone. And I want to say that more and more. We do not do this for everyone. We do this for life insurance agents that literally are looking to change the trajectory of where it is that they are right now. Someone over on Facebook said, let's go. We are going to go and have been going. I want you to understand and know that if there is a level that you're trying to get to, if there's a level that you want to get to, all it takes is you taking the step to do it. All it takes is, if you don't know how to do what it is that you're doing, I don't know what that is on my camera. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I think that's a cord that's on my camera right there. If you don't know how to do and get better at what it is that you're doing, then you're going to have to ask for help. You're going to have to be the person that says, you know what? I don't know what to do right now, but doggone it, I'm not going to stop until I figure this thing out. I'm not going to stop until I get to the level and get to the point where I want to get to. I'm tired of seeing all these testimonies and all these other life insurance agents that are killing it. I don't even freaking understand how someone makes 30, 40, 50, 80, $100,000 a month. I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me. If you're asking yourself those questions, then there's obviously a drastic change and a drastic difference that needs to occur and needs to happen. I'm not sure if we have someone over on Clubhouse that has a question. If you do, you can raise your hand and you can let me know. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for tuning in today, and make sure I'm here every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you next Sunday. Hey, I want to thank you so much for tuning into the show today. Make sure you follow me on Clubhouse at Earl Hall and visit the website www.lifeinsuranceleadgenerator.com. We'll see you on the next episode.